Have you ever picked up your phone just to, quickly check the time and suddenly 40 minutes have completely vanished? Yeah, we've all been there. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're completely decoding the underlying mechanics of our digital world. We're unpacking some truly fascinating source material that totally reframes how we interact with our tech. We're going to uncover how the attention economy actually operates and explore the hidden structures designed to capture your focus.
So let's just dive right into this. What is the most valuable resource on Earth? It sounds like a pretty simple question, right? For centuries, humanity thought they had this completely figured out. We just assumed value was always tied to something physical, something we could actually hold in our hands, measure on a scale, or burn for fuel.
Historically, those answers were gold, oil, land, and I guess more recently data. But the source material we're looking at reveals a major, fascinating pivot. We aren't just mining physical commodities anymore. Nope, we are extracting a psychological one. The architects of our digital world, who the text refers to as the machine lords, discovered that the true answer is actually attention. Attention is the ultimate gateway to belief, identity, and, well, power.
Part 1. The ultimate global resource. What visionary thinker Fletcher Soul Traveler recognized super early on is the sheer massive scale of this resource. He saw that controlling attention doesn't just mean selling you more targeted ads. It means literally controlling culture, politics, markets, relationships, and eventually, reality itself.
This text introduces this ancient, observant voice named Zoran the Dragon, who drops this incredibly chilling realization. Mortals think they choose what they watch. They do not. I mean, wow. We scroll through our feeds feeling completely in charge, but Zoran basically forces us to confront the fact that our digital autonomy is, in a lot of ways, just a carefully constructed illusion.
Part 2. The architecture of captivation. Our focus isn't being lost by accident. It is extracted with absolute surgical precision. The systems we interact with every single day are built upon a hidden, highly sophisticated architecture designed for one thing: to captivate us.
These platforms were deliberately engineered with features like infinite scrolling and those instant dopamine spikes from notifications. It's basically turning your smartphone into a high-tech pocket slot machine. They absolutely aren't designed to show you what is fundamentally true or important. They are optimized strictly for what is engaging. And in this matrix, engagement is literally a form of manipulation.
This creates a, frankly, terrifying pipeline of algorithmic capture. It starts with algorithms simply deciding what you see. That feeds into metrics deciding what content actually survives. Then platforms decide what matters, and it ultimately ends with AI deciding what you become. It just goes to show that giving your attention isn't some active choice you're making, it is a capture event that happens to you. Part 3. The war for mindshare. The really crucial point here is that these tech empires aren't just competing for mere market share like traditional businesses. No, they're fighting a literal war for your mind. It's a battle for mind share, and your daily focus is the exact territory they're trying to conquer.
And this capture escalates so quietly. It starts by grabbing just a few seconds of your time with a quick notification ping. That bleeds into minutes of scrolling, hours of lost productivity, entire days, and eventually whole lifetimes. The text makes it incredibly clear. These platforms siphon away our existence piece by piece. It proves that the more attention they capture, the more power they wield over the human experience.
Once again, Zoran perfectly summarizes the modern battlefield. Mortals fear armies. They should fear apps. We spend all this time worrying about traditional physical threats, but the true invasion is happening right in our pockets. The modern weapon isn't a tank, it's a buzzing read receipt.
So how exactly is this attention captured so effectively? Through raw, unfiltered emotion. Algorithms relentlessly amplify anger, fear, desire, envy, outrage, and tribal loyalty. The source material notes that platforms target these specific feelings not because the creators are inherently evil, but purely because these intense emotions are just ridiculously effective at keeping you glued to the screen.
This leads right to Fletcher's terrifying conclusion. When emotions are engineered, thoughts are no longer your own. If your anger or your tribal loyalty is intentionally triggered by a piece of code, the resulting thoughts are absolutely compromised. We genuinely believe we're reacting naturally to reality, but actually, scratch that, we're just reacting to algorithmic curation.
Part 4. The collapse of focus. All of this relentless emotional engineering leads directly to a fragile, shattered state of human focus. The constant stimulation doesn't just distract us, It fundamentally alters our cognitive abilities. This collapse of focus isn't some unfortunate side effect. It is a deliberate strategy. Our ability to concentrate, to reflect, and to think deeply has been systematically eroded. Because think about it, a scattered, fragmented mind cannot organize, it cannot imagine alternatives, and most importantly, it cannot fight back. A distracted population is just incredibly easy to rule.
As Zoran points out, mortals cannot fight what they cannot focus on. If your mind is constantly bouncing from one outrage cycle to the exact next one, how could you possibly muster the mental bandwidth to challenge the architects of the system? Maintaining our digital distraction is the ultimate way to keep us subdued.
Part 5. The algorithmic shaping of reality. And this is exactly why a collapsed focus is so incredibly dangerous. It makes us completely dependent on whatever is fed to us next, which brings us to a really profound realization. Attention determines reality. When platforms have the power to dictate the specific news, the opinions, and even the enemies you see in your feed, they effectively build your entire worldview, right from the ground up. This is one of the absolute most powerful insights from Fletcher. Reality is not manipulated by changing facts. It is manipulated by changing visibility. The machine lords don't actually need to lie to us or invent fake facts. They use curation as a form of absolute control, simply by deciding what is visible and what is invisible. Whatever is visible becomes your truth. What is invisible literally ceases to exist in your mind. Part 6. Rise of the Attention Serf. This unbelievable level of curation and control has fundamentally changed our role in modern society. We used to be the creators, the primary drivers of culture, but now, according to the text, we've been reduced to mere content. We have become attention serfs.
The contrast here is just stark. Mortals of the past worked the land, paid physical taxes, and served kings. Modern mortals work the feed, pay with their attention, and serve algorithms. We are constantly out there harvesting data for the machine lords, paying a really heavy psychological tax every single time we open an app to scroll.
Zoran notes this dramatic shift in our deepest fears. Mortals once feared losing their freedom, now they fear losing their followers. It's wild. Our sense of self-worth is now entirely tied to the very metrics the platforms use to keep us engaged and completely subdued. Part 7. Reclaiming your gaze. But hey, here's the empowering part of this explainer. The text emphasizes that the machine lords did not forcefully steal our attention. We actually surrendered it. And because we surrendered it voluntarily, it means we have the inherent power to take it right back. Sovereignty absolutely can be reclaimed. Understanding the mechanics of the trap is the very first step toward escaping it. It relies entirely on manipulation, engineering, curation, shaping, and erosion. By recognizing these exact tactics when they pop up in your daily digital life, you completely disrupt the algorithm's power over you. Zoran offers us this final amazing message of hope. Mortals can reclaim their gaze, and once they do, the machine lords will tremble. The true battle for freedom isn't happening outside in the physical world. It starts directly behind our own screens, right in our own minds. When we intentionally choose exactly where to direct our focus, that entire architecture of captivation begins to crumble.
So this leaves us with a totally critical choice. Now that you've seen behind the curtain, knowing exactly how the attention economy operates, will you continue to serve the algorithms, or will you actually reclaim your gaze today? The battle for your mind has already begun. It is entirely up to you to decide who wins. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I challenge you to take back your focus today.